Welcome back, grade 10 with Unit 1 North Star, a test of endurance. Yes, today we are finally at the last part of this unit, which is focus on speaking. Let's go to page 14. Focus on speaking vocabulary. We're going to do a review first of all the words that you've learned throughout this unit. Read the clues and complete the crossword puzzle. Use vocabulary from listenings 1 and 2. Now, here you see the grid, and here you have the explanations. You can pause your video and answer that. Go ahead. Expand. Read the conversation between a reporter and an ultra-long distance swimmer. Notice the bold-faced words. Okay, those are definitely words, phrases that we've already looked at throughout this unit. It's kind of a review in a way. We come to the phrase threw me for a loop, be my own worst enemy, set my heart on, blow my chance, easier said than done, and I have what it takes. Now, reading this by yourself brings us to this activity where you have to match the bold-faced words and phrases with the meaning. So we've got 6 of these phrases and we've got 6 meanings. I'd like you to write the correct number of the phrase matching the correct meaning. You can pause your video to do that. Awesome. Create. Now, we can't partner up. That's really sad, but that we don't know right now. So think about an important goal you have in life. That's what we're going to talk about right now. What is an important goal you have in your life? I want to graduate high school and go into a good uni. You might have even more exciting ones than only those. It can be a goal in sports, maybe, school, work, or maybe any other area in your life, things that you're good at, like music, for example, arts and crafts, anything. Now, what I want you to do is think about that, and I want you to use the words and phrases that you see here in the box. We have a whole list of words and phrases, and I'd like you to use those to help you answer number 1 to 5. Yeah? For example, looking at number 1, what is your goal? Yeah, that is my goal, blah, 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 blah. So I'd like you to come up with your own answers to number 1 and 5, 1 until 5, 1 until 5, 1 until 6. I see something very interesting here, people. I thought it was my eyes. There are 2 3s. And I thought, and my eyes weren't working. Okay, those are 6 questions, not 5. Interesting. And answer them, using the words and phrases from the box in your answers. You can pause your video and you're just going to try to write them down, that while we meet through our Zoom meeting, we can just talk about that. Go ahead. Okay, that brings us to the grammar for this part of the unit. We're going to talk about reflexive and reciprocal pronouns. That sounds difficult, but it's not so difficult. Okay, first things first, read the excerpt from an article about motivation. Now, the bold-faced words are reflexive and also reciprocal pronouns. Draw an arrow from the pronouns to the words they refer to. So what do they connect to? For instance, here we say what motivates an extreme athlete like Jay Bacham to push himself to the limit. Himself is a reflexive pronoun, which refers to Jay Bacham, right? So I don't know if you remember, maybe from last year we had these pronouns that we use to refer to subjects, or other nouns that are mentioned before it. what is important in that part is that it shows the word refer, and refer means that it is connected to a noun that is mentioned before it. Now, in syntax, in sentence structure, you've learned about sentences, and one of the dependent sentences uses a relative pronoun. Okay, so those relative pronouns for people would be that, who, whom, and for things or objects it would be that and which. And those are also pronouns, but they're called relative pronouns. They relate or refer to a noun that is mentioned before it. Could be person or thing or whatever. Now, in this case, it's also a pronoun, but in this case, it is a reflective pronoun. And we can remember that by the word self. Reflective pronouns always end with self. And in this case, himself refers to the man's name that was mentioned before it. Okay? Cool. So what I want you to do is, what does themselves refer to? Can you make an arrow, draw an arrow, and the same with one another and herself. You can pause your video to do that. Go ahead. Awesome. So real quick, reciprocal pronouns. Reciprocal pronouns, they are different from reflexive pronouns in that reciprocal pronouns have the word other to them attached. Either it, yeah, they're not attached though. They have a space in between, but they use the word other or another. Whereas the reflexive pronouns use self. Yeah, so that is the difference. Reflexive uses the word self. Reciprocal uses other or another. Good. Okay, here we can see use a reflexive pronoun when the subject and the object of a sentence are the same person or the same thing. So the reflexive pronouns are myself, yourself, herself, himself, itself, or in a plural form, ourselves, yourselves, and themselves. Use yourself, we're going to focus a little bit on this one. Use yourself or yourselves, singular, plural, one, more than one. Use yourself or yourselves in imperative sentences now. Imperative sentences are sentences of command or instruction. When you command someone to do something or instruct someone to do something, it always refers to you, but you don't really mention the word you. For example, if I would say to you, close the door, open the window, stop talking. Those are kind of commands, and I don't say you. I didn't say, hey, you, stop talking. I don't do that. So we omit or take away the word, the you. It is not stated, okay? But it is addressed to you. Now, yourself you use when the subject is only singular, means one, and yourselves is when the subject is plural, means more than one. Use a reciprocal pronoun when the subject and object are the same people and the people have a relationship. For example, each other for people and one another for more than one or two people. So each other is then for two and one another is more than two. For example, Marge and Susan competed against each other, two people, or the athletes, which is more than two, competed against one another. So this is two, each other is two, and one another would be more than two. Great. Number 4, reciprocal pronouns and plural reflexive pronouns have different meanings, okay? For example, here, Marge and Susan helped each other. So Marge helped Susan and Susan helped Marge. Yeah, but I can also say this in the way by using the plural with themselves. Marge and Susan helped themselves. That would mean that Marge helped herself and Susan helped herself. So they were not helping each other. Okay, so you could say, well, I can use themselves. That's a plural form. If I have Susan and Marge, it's more than one, so it's plural. Now the difference is, if you would use each other, which means for each other, but if you would say the word themselves, would be focused on themselves. So the meaning would be different. Got it? Cool. Okay, number 2, here you are going to complete the conversation with the correct reflexive and reciprocal pronoun. Now we put it to the test, where you have to try to use the correct form here in this conversation. So we have numbers 1 until 6. Is it going to be a reflexive pronoun, singular form, or plural? Is it going to be a reciprocal pronoun? Is it going to be in the way that it is only 2 people, so means I would use each other, or is it going to be more than 2 people, which in that case I would use the phrase one another. Okay, you can pause your video and do that. Good luck. Okay, we see here a box with different verb forms, yeah, using the reflexive and reciprocal pronouns in your answers. They're trying. Okay, so this is basically asking you to try to answer the statements or questions, basically. So here we have what does Bridget do if, and what do Bridget and her teammates do or feel, blah, 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 blah. And the point here is, did you imagine what Bridget and her teammates do in this situation? You just imagine, and you try to answer that by using the verbs from the box and then using the reflexive and reciprocal pronouns in your answers. For example, what does Bridget do if she starts feeling tired at the end of a race? She imagines herself crossing the finish line. So in this sentence, what pronoun was used? If you look at this sentence, what do you see? Herself, exactly. In this case, in the answer was used the word yourself, which is a reflexive pronoun, right? Reflexive, remember, reflexive. How can we remember this? Reflexive is like when you're reflecting. And when you're reflecting about something, it's mostly reflecting about yourself and what you did. So it's focused on the self. So if it's reflexive, it's self. Okay? When it's reciprocal, it means it's the other, with other or another. Maybe that will help. I don't know, but I hope it does. So yeah, herself, reflexive pronoun, right? Which refers to she. Very good. Very good. And then what word in the sentence is taken from the box? Ta-da! Imagine. See? She imagines herself. Yeah, so you use a verb from the box and you use a reflexive or reciprocal pronoun. I want you to try answer now at least 2 from this box and at least 1 from this box. You do not have to do all 8, just choose 2 numbers from this part and 1 number from this part. Try to answer it, write it down, and we will discuss that in our Zoom meeting. Go ahead. Pronunciation, expressions with other. Pronunciation, the expression, how we say things and pronounce things in English. Now, we have expressions when we state our opinion, what we think, but using other. The word other joins very closely to the word in front of it or the word that follows it in another. Now, we're going to look at how to express or say or mention the word other connected to the words that come before it, like in another, or the 2 words you can say here, an and other, they're written together. Now, the expression each other, the 2 words are written separately, but they're joined just as closely together. So another is attached, so you say another. Each other is not attached, but you still pronounce it as if it is attached. Each other, each other. You don't say each other, you don't say that, you say each other. Okay?
The other night I was talking to my roommate about starting a regular exercise program. She wants to start too. You should do it together. You'll motivate each other. I have another motivation. The clothes in my closet that don't fit anymore.
Yes, here you can hear the other, how that is connected when you pronounce that each other and another, how that is pronounced. So the expression of other together, it's as if the 2 words that, even though if they're not attached, they're separate. In the pronunciation, when you talk, you have to attach the words as the other, each other, and another. Okay, yeah? So that's the part of pronunciation. How do we pronounce using the word other in connection to another word? It sounds as if it's all attached. Listen to the phrases and repeat them. Now, choose. You don't have to choose three phrases and say it out loud. We're not going to do that. But I do want you to listen to this and listen for how it is pronounced and repeat them by yourself. So repeat the person who's talking. Let's go.
1. The other night. 2. The other day. 3. Something or other. 4. One another. 5. Each other. 6. Some other. 7. One thing or another. 8. Every other day.
Yes, you can hear how the pronunciation of those words with other are pronounced as one word. Yeah, attached. Now, here you're going to fill in the blanks of these sentences, completing these sentences with expressions from exercise 1. So, the ones you heard just now, 1 until 8. We'll fit in the blanks to complete the sentences here. You see here one line is one word. So in this case, there are 3 words. I would like to try number 1 with you. Yeah, number 1 is every other day. And then we have a comma. My 2 roommates and I go for a long walk. Yeah. I would like you to complete sentences number 2 until 6. You can pause your video. Activity 3. In activity 3, we see 5 statements for student A and 5 statements for student B. And by connecting the right number with the right letter, we're basically creating very short conversations. So we're basically connecting student A with student B. So I'd like you to see how these are connected. And maybe you can also think about the underlined words. Those are most of them are idioms with other. Do you know what they mean? Okay, you can pause your video to make the connection between the numbers and the letters. Go ahead. Good. Just to give you a heads up with number 1, checking your answer for number 1. Sharon's sons are at each other's throats all the time. She doesn't know what to do. Connect with D. She might not be able to do anything. My brother and I fought with each other until he went away to school. See, number 1 is connected with D, and that completes the conversation, the talk between student A and student B. 1 and D are related. Now, the underlined phrase here, at each other's throats, is an idiom, a saying. And it means that they're constantly fighting, arguing. Yeah. Okay, you did the rest. We will discuss that in our next Zoom meeting. All right, that brings us to speaking skill. Asking for and expressing opinion. Okay, to keep a conversation going and to make it interesting, it is important for everyone to share ideas. To do this, express your opinion. Maybe you want to ask for other people's opinions. Maybe you want to express yourself by agreeing. Maybe you will state that you disagree with other people's opinions. That is all good as long as you are respectful towards each other. Okay. Read and listen to the conversation, and I'd like you to notice the language that is used to ask for an opinion and the language that is used to express an opinion.
Look at that guy. What do you think he's doing?
It looks like he's running forward and then backward. Maybe he's training for a race.
I'm not sure. See how slowly he's going? He can't be a racer.
You're right. He is pretty slow. I think he's probably just doing that for fun.
This is a very simple topic, but here Sangli, Ahmed, Eli, and Ahmed They are expressing their opinions on a very simple matter using statements such as, what do you think? So asking for an opinion. It looks like expressing an opinion. I'm not sure, kind of asking and stating, and you're right, stating and stating an opinion. So here we have the boxes divided very nicely in 4 boxes. The first is asking for an opinion. Now here are examples. How can you ask for an opinion? You could say, for example, what do you think about? If it's a general opinion, or do you think that? Do you agree with specific points? Yeah. What do you think? Do you think? Do you agree? To express an opinion, you could say, I think, I'm pretty sure, it seems like, I think, I'm pretty sure, it seems like, yeah, these are examples, yeah. And then to agree, you could say, I think, like, I think Ron is the best runner. Yeah, yes, I think you're right, I agree. Examples. But you can also disagree. I don't know, I'm not sure about that. That is more indirect, that you're not, like, too upfront. But if you're more direct upfront, you say, I don't think so, I don't agree, I disagree. That's very direct. Now, indirect disagreement sounds a bit more polite. Sometimes that is easier for people to hear. So I don't know, I'm not sure. That's a bit softer, yeah. Direct disagreement sounds stronger and can be less polite, or it's sometimes hard for people to hear that. Right. So that brings us to the practice for asking for and expressing opinions. You read both conversations. I want you to look at the difference in it. Which conversation is more direct? Let's look at the first one. I think extreme sports are the most dangerous sports. I don't think so. All sports can be dangerous. You're right. I think that athletes hurt themselves in all sports, not just extreme sports. What about conversation 2? I think that extreme sports are the most dangerous sports. I'm not sure about that. It seems to me that all sports can be dangerous. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that athletes hurt themselves in all sports, not just extreme sports. Now, it is different, conversation 1 and 2. Can you, after reading this and hearing this, can you decide which one is more direct and which one is more indirect? And can you please underline the statement or the phrase or sentence that showed you that it was more direct or more indirect? Awesome. Well done. Okay, so you can definitely hear from the way how someone responds whether it's direct or indirect. Here we see now 4 pictures here. Okay, hooray, hooray. I'd like you to look at these pictures for bits A, B, C, and D. Pictures of athletes. Now, I'd like you to think about how each athlete is feeling. How are they feeling? The first one said angry. How are they feeling? What about B, C, and D? If you look at the pictures, they show a very different emotion. Yeah? I would like you to write the adjective that you think best describes the athlete's feeling under the picture. Like A is done for you. The feeling must have been anger, so angry. And I'd like you to write one word, one adjective under B, C, and D to describe what this athlete is feeling. Awesome. That brings us to the end of our video. Focus on speaking. Got something in my throat. Okay, you did amazingly well today. It was quite a long run today in our video. First thing we did was reviewing the vocabulary of this unit and matching the words with the definitions. And then we talked about important goals that you had in life and how to respond to that. Grammar was a clear focus on reflexive and reciprocal pronouns, remembering that reflexive has the word reflect or reflect, which is focused on the self. So for the reflexive pronouns, we always focus on the words, on the pronouns that have self to it, such as myself, yourself, herself, himself, itself. Singular, and in the plural form, ourselves, yourselves, and themselves. Whereas yourself and yourselves is always used in an imperative sentence, which is a command or an instruction. And the reciprocal pronouns are always focused on other. So those are the ones each, other, and one another. But when we pronounce them not detached but attached. They are written detached, but they're pronounced attached. Each other and one another. Exactly. Cool. And then you stated some opinion on what does Bridget do if, or with her teammates, some of the completing of the sentences and answering some of the questions by using words and phrases from a box. And the pronunciation, we focus on expressing other, as I said just now, even though it's written detached, but when we speak, it is always pronounced as if it is one word, like the other, each other, another. Yes. Awesome. For the speaking skill, we did asking for and expressing opinions, making sure that you're always respectful and correct in how you express your opinions, whether to ask for an opinion, express an opinion, whether you're agreeing or disagreeing, and that the way you respond can be more direct and can also be more indirect. And which is the right one to use at the right time in the right circumstance? That's the question. Okay, people, thank you very much for your hard work today. We will see each other very soon again in another video. Take good care of yourself. God bless you and stay excited. Bye-bye.